Ripping a monsty, buddy. Alright, boys. So, back out in the garage. Talon's right here. I'm going to show you my progress momentarily. A lot of off-camera progress here. I just don't feel like picking the camera up and trying to show you guys every single thing that I do, because it makes it take literally 5 times longer. And I'm sorry, because I know that some people watch to see all that, but I need to get a real camera or get a different phone and use this as just camera, because I have no storage with all of my personal pictures and videos and stuff for my personal life. And then I have all these videos and whatnot, so it just takes up all my room. So yeah, the old Dism over here, she's like really like just, it's like final assembly time. Still waiting on the harness. May never get it. I don't know. Yeah, I mean, I asked the guy and he goes, I can't find the tracking number. I said, okay. Well, if I don't have it this week, I'd like to get my money back. Which, getting to the shootout this year, if I don't have the harness within probably the month of July, I do not think that I will make it, because there's no way somebody is gonna have a custom harness made for me in a month's time. The shootout's the first week of September. It's almost August, so kind of screwed if that harness for some reason doesn't show up. Now if it does, I really hope it shows up this week. So like I said, I'll show you in a minute here. This engine is, I mean, yesterday I basically knocked out reassembling almost the entire thing. I had it fully disassembled because I was expecting the harness to show up, and it hasn't, and I'm just getting fed up waiting. So I guess I'm just gonna have everything ready and see what happens. I don't know. Like, it just kind of is what it is, you know. So I'll show you the progress here. All right, so here's how we're looking. We got the obviously I don't know if I've shown this in the video yet. I think I did in the last one. My sweet American flag COP coil on plug deal. Got the Crown Garage custom piece that I made for the Jesus, I don't know why I can't think of it. The catch can. It's more like a catch tank. Got the sweet vibrant blue line. It's my valve cover. So what I've recently done is finish this bracket for the power steering. Don't look too close, it doesn't look the best. I've gotten all the lines routed how I want them routed. Got a nice down slope for the return to the pump. Got the feed line run all down through here to the rack. Got the rack return going to the can. Got this sweet little bracket I made out of some carbon. Mounted it up to where the strut mounts. Yeah, it'll be fine. The fuel line. So I've decided that I'm just gonna make a test run with the rubber hose, and then I'll make a real line. I got the length that I need with the rubber line, so I can use it for whatever else I want to use it for, but you know, I mean, I'm not gonna run it other than maybe like the first start of the car. Actually, probably not even that, because you know, I've been doing some thinking, and like something comes up and hits that line and it's routed under the car, and I'm probably gonna be having a bad day if that thing gets chopped open. Anyway, moving to intercooler piping. It runs down, around, tile blow-off valves right there, goes up to here. Probably should try to get that back on there. There we go. 74 mil Drop My Wire Bosch throttle body, custom adapter from 3D Creations. This is this intercooler pipe. Comes around, looks pretty good. We got the fuse box relocation. Made a couple brackets. I still need to paint them, but that doesn't matter just to start it. So this is how she looks. Pretty baller. WB1 wideband controllers mounted. Come over here in the car, and our Haltech with our CAN hub chilling here. Jose Antonio, hit him up. He makes the custom shift boots. Pretty sweet. One thing, if any DSM people watch this video, please, what are you doing to adapt this factory return line? Anyway, as I was saying before I once again ran out of storage, so don't mind this. I work afternoons and I typically just shower before I go, like I did when I worked in the morning. So yeah. Anyway, I want to ask, what are you guys doing other than running a bulkhead fitting? I really don't want to ruin this new sending unit that I just bought. I'd rather keep it as stock as I can, at least for now. I'm not gonna run a full-blown one ever because I've heard that they cause issues when launching and stuff with the double fuel pumps, and it's better just run a surge tank, which is what I'll do eventually. But that being said, it's like a quarter nipple. I was wondering if you could run a quick disconnect sort of deal or some sort of adapter. I don't know, because it's like a nipple, like a flared end, and it's not flared very much, so I don't know if it would seal. But just a question that I have. If worst comes to worst, I'm just gonna get a 1/4 inch nipple to 6AN adapter and then just 90 it straight down, so the line will just come straight up into the piece, and that'll be that for now. That's not forever, it's just for now. Please don't judge. I'm not trying to make 1,000 horsepower here. I'm just trying to enjoy my freaking car that I can't enjoy because I don't have a wiring harness. Anyway, I think now I'm gonna start working on getting the differential resealed and get it back in the subframe. So might show you. I'll probably show you. This is a differential. Already getting dirty. I don't know why this thing still feels tacky. I really wish that I could understand that. What is this? I think I broke something. Oh. This big vent cap. I don't even know how that happened. Whatever. I don't care. Wish I had a cleaner working area, but I don't do a very good job of that. Alright, so basically I have all new bolts. I should get a bigger battery. That battery's dead. Okay, this isn't going well. Got the chunker battery now. Anybody listen to metal music that watches my channel? Well, I know some people do, because
like what I was saying, these ones so tight. Holy, that's some crusty. So, anyway. Big guns now. These things are going to be sorry to get below. I got around 2. What? I don't have any bolts. Good grief.
Wow. There's gears and stuff in there. Alright. Yeah, it looks like this thing was just RTV before. I'm gonna go get my scraper. Alright guys, so last you saw was me pulling the diff apart. I ended up finding a likely reason for a leak. This cover has been cracked and JB welded back together from the looks of it. Somebody must have over tightened it right on that bolt, which that bolt was a bear to get out. So it doesn't really surprise me, but Derek Geedy is his name. He makes billet covers. I am going to be purchasing one of those. But now, on to something kind of really cool that ended up working out. So, my Camaro, as you guys know, it's not running right now, which is unfortunate, but pulled the radiator hoses off of it because the small block needs plucked out anyway, and the LS orientation is probably going to be different. So here's one hose. This end is already made for a radiator with a 1.5 inch outlet there. This end slips right over here. Boom, upper rad hose done. Which I can't believe, but considering this is a Sirocco style radiator, and as is the one in there, that's why it works. Now, as you can see, there is a bunch of weird looking like stuff all over it. Like, it looks almost like yellowy green. That's likely just adhesive. I'm gonna put this basically tinfoil over it. I like to do that. It's just to try to keep extra heat from getting to other stuff, radiating to other stuff, and also keeping extra heat off of this.
So, this stuff works pretty good. I mean, I definitely think that the gold stuff works better, but it's also nice because it's just going to cover up all the marks and stuff from the old wrap that I had on this. It probably isn't going to look the greatest because the stuff is just junky Chinese garbage from Amazon, but to me it looks better than old nasty adhesive, and also it has a purpose. So I'm just wrapping this up over here, guys. Don't worry, I'm just chilling. bought like a really big roll of this stuff, just for miscellaneous use. So, just kind of good grief. Oh my lord. Probably just gonna speed this up. Probably should have done time lapse of this, not gonna lie to you.
Alright, so anyway, this doesn't look the greatest. I'm probably gonna try to do something different with it, maybe. I don't know. I mean, it really doesn't need to be there, but I have it there. But stuff usually does work pretty good. I don't know. I might take it off. Anyway, moving to the bottom. So we have, this is also off the Camaro. This came off the water pump for the bottom. So this is a 1.75 inch down here on the bottom. This is 1.5 inches. These are both 1.25 inches according to the internet. So I have this 90 with a silicone coupler. I have a silicone coupler on the way. And then I have an 1.25 inch piece of pipe. Also, somehow, some way off the Camaro, which is kind of insane. And how did I have this? I think like this. It basically lines up perfectly. Need a straight 1.75 inch to 1.25 inch for down here, and then just a straight regular 1.25 inches to 1.25 inches, because that lines up perfectly, and really should be no problem. Line right up, it'll fix itself. So she's really like coming along. I'm really trying to bust this thing out as I'm still waiting for my harness. I screwed up the gasket on the throttle body, so I need to get a new one. Which is not extremely easy to find. Might have to make a custom one, I don't know yet. I got all of the fittings in here with PTFE, Permatex stuff right here. Stuff works really good. Don't ask the DSM Nation people about what thread sealant you could use for stuff, because they'll all basically just call you stupid. And I know for a fact when you're sealing NPT fittings, which this fuel pressure regulator is an old bypass style Aeromotive, it does not have ORB fittings. I don't know if they misunderstood me or what, but it uses NPT, everything on there. And all of the fittings for my push to connect, I'm not going to end up using these plastic ones, because I talked to Mike at Bushers. If you know who he is, shout out to him. Super knowledgeable. Dude's great. Told me to go with the Motion Raceworks stainless fittings and the Motion Raceworks line. He said he's tried all sorts of brands. This is just info just for anybody. If you're planning on push to connect, they don't hold up to the heat. A lot of heat in the engine bay. You got them on your wastegate, that sucker gets hot. Anything in this engine bay, probably other than the blow-off valve, because I have mine down there, is going to get likely damaged or melted. I have one that goes on the back of the intake, same sort of deal. So this is pretty good progress. I think for an intake for the turbo, I'm gonna get a 90, a 4-inch 90, or a 45, and go, if I can, maybe like just right here, or I'll just run a filter. It's so hard to figure out an intake with a turbo this big unless I just go with a reducer to a 3-inch, and I mean that could realistically somehow, some way, I'm sorry guys, I'm terrible with the camera, somehow, some way put this intake in a not really stupid spot, but I somehow doubt it. Why? I don't know why I keep pointing the camera in the complete opposite direction. Anyway, I have this fitting, this filter. This is pretty much how I ran my Precision. It was basically no different. If I can get it on here. It's not ideal, really, at all, because you're just sucking in straight hot air. But eventually I will figure something out for that. Top mounts are kind of difficult when it comes to that, because either you're going to have to make a custom pipe setup that goes down and under so you can run it straight out, and then the power steering is there. So thinking possibly what I could do is somehow reduce this down and go through this area and down into there to get fresh air closer to the bottom. Yeah, you could say water might be an issue, but really don't plan on driving this car in the water. If I drove this car in the water, it would be a complete and utter disaster and last resort with how I'm building this. So this is a street car. If I get caught in the rain, it's gonna deal with it, but it's not ideal. That's all I'm trying to say. So, it's gonna be a full interior, fun car. Just go rip around on nice days, weekends. Just, have fun. That's what these things are for. Got both my belts on. I don't know if we talked about that. Mighty Max oil filter housing. So yeah, it's basically just this harness, man, holding me up. And then obviously my rear end, I can't put the diff in until I have the new cover. I have to sell a couple things to get some spare cash to pay for the cover. So I have to do that. And then I'm waiting on the stuff to finish up the rad hoses. Got to order a couple caps for these, for the old turbo lines, proper silicone caps. I was going to have them pinched off and welded shut, or cut off and welded shut, but I actually was just going to get a stainless one, but money's just been tight, so I'm not going to do all that. But yeah, so she's come along. The interior is basically still gutted. I have to get seat rails for my new seats. Probably, if it does run for the shootout, it's not going to have a dash in it. It's just going to have my gauge cluster zip tied in there, and a Haltech CAN keypad probably, and obviously a steering wheel and stuff. But still got to put the Brembos on. Still waiting on those, and I got to get the shifter in. There's so much stuff. It's just rough, man. But I guess we'll see what happens. I'm just really hoping I can have this thing run, at least, if not for the shootout, to drive just this year in general. It literally hasn't ran this year. Last year I had it running till about October. That's when I tore it apart. That's when I ordered the harness, and that's how long I've been waiting. So I'm hoping that I get that soon. But anyway, thank you guys for watching.
It's supposed to feel
Alright guys, so obviously as you just saw, that was a that was a stud kit from, well, if you're interested in who it's from, it is DSM 3D Creations. Good kit. I bought it last year at Shootout. So now we'll need to move into doing the nuts and bolts that are under this. So I'm gonna get into that now. Boom. And don't worry that I'm using an impact on this, guys. Listen to this thing. Look at this. This thing's wrecked. Doesn't even have enough torque to freaking probably take those back off. Alright guys, so here's a custom piece I made out of some scrap metal. It is just some probably like 1/8 inch wall, small tubing. Cut it in a few pieces, notched it, welded it together. It's a nice real stiff subframe support. Torque Solution billet bushings, as you saw, solid bushings, whatever. So now I got some fluid film on this thing and got the billet diff cover. Got some fluid film on here so this thing doesn't continue to just rot like the other one did. And hopefully she is actually ready to go in now. I think I'm gonna get it up in there and yep, subframe will be back in. All right, so I'm gonna start this off by saying I would recommend having somebody help you put a subframe in. It can be done alone, but I just did it alone and I don't recommend it. There's the solid Torque Solution bushings. They work. They're in. So, like I said, if you look, you can see here, we got the aftermarket from Derek Deedy, FBF, I think it says. It's got like main cap like supports, almost like girdles. And then I built that stiffer subframe connector brace. So yeah, I mean, other than I think I'm gonna repaint the bottom of the diff because the jack wore the paint off of it from it sliding around on the jack so much, which is mostly my fault because I didn't put something under it to support it more. That's it. Next is gonna be getting all my new knuckle bushings in, slapping the knuckles in. Gotta get the 3G arms for the rear forward arms, lower forward. Fluid filmed the wheel wells just because, you know, this thing, it doesn't have a lot of rust, but it's got some rust starting in that common spot over there. And I just want to do this until I can afford to get this whole car repainted and have everything fixed, because I don't know if I've ever showed you guys, but I bought this thing like this. I don't know how this happened, but that rocker is absolutely smashed. Like somebody left the door open and it like smashed into something. I don't even know how that happens, to be honest. Four-wheeler's doing a good job of holding my wheels and tires. I don't remember if I showed this yesterday, but I had this old Moroso coolant overflow laying around from the Camaro, I built a bracket for it, tucked it in right there next to the radiator, and it'll be nice because then I can just go straight from here to right there. It's completely tucked away. Once the bumper's on, you won't even know it's there. I gotta fix these because I'm not too proud of these, to be honest, but I mounted it off of the same hole that this is on, and then I mounted it right there. Headlight still slides in because the headlight bolt's right there. Clearance to get a socket in there. These are actually OEM bolts that I repurposed for this. I'm not gonna say it's the prettiest thing in the world, but it gets the job done. And as long as this thing doesn't leak, I don't really care. And I don't think it will, but I am gonna test that theory pretty soon here. Alright guys, so unfortunately, get my harness finally, and got some issues I'm running into. Oil pressure sensor plug in the wrong spot. It is supposed to go down to the oil filter housing, which is right there. Unfortunately, that's not going to be the case anymore. I have to get a relocation that moves it to right here, which is the factory oil feed for the turbo. Most people move them to the oil filter housing, which is what I have. So, unfortunately, as well, the biggest issue that is happening with this harness, I have a 97 to 99 cam angle sensor plug, which is great if this had a 97 to 99, but it has a 95-96, which is this, which goes down and bolts in here. So basically, gonna have to run a 1G cam angle sensor because I would have to remove the cam and drill and tap it to even have a chance of running that, and I'm not disassembling my engine. I already had it apart once to do my timing belt. If I would have known that I was going to have that connector put on, which, no hate, I'm just clarifying. I never said I wanted that one. We never discussed that. I just said I have a 2G, and that's what he put on there, which, not a huge deal, just figuring it out. Luckily, shout out to Brandon and Mike at Bushers. They got me set up with a 1G cam angle sensor adapter deal. So I should be able to adapt that plug to a 1G and just leave that alone. And the 1G is the same deal. It runs off of that, if I'm not mistaken, off the intake cam. So get that figured out. I got to pin in a connector for the throttle body at the moment. And then I got to get a hold of him and figure out what this is for. I'm assuming this is for a boost controller, just a 2-pin Deutsch connector. Got a head ground, crank sensor here, GTR plugs, Bosch injectors. So we got that, and then we got fuel pressure back here, which is chilling. Grounds, and then it runs in the car. Got this fuse box deal. Finished the lowered Jonathan there. Upper hose. I think I showed this before. Sorry about the camera. I'm just bumping my tripod and everything. Got studs for the turbo in. Unfortunately, that stud will not work. Gonna have to put some sort of bolt in it because the nut hits on the turbine housing. So it's just one thing after another, pretty much. The power steering system's pretty much done. Right now, I'm pulling the fuel rail off for the final time. bolting the intake on for the final time. I gotta order braided fuel line. I bought the regular rubber push lock, but I'm not going to use it just because I want something that's a little safer to run under the car. And the engine should be fine. Got this heat wrap on it. Not over here, but oh well. And then I got to figure out my boost controller. So, the plug that he has for this, unfortunately I bought a coolant temp sensor and it has the wrong style plug, so I had to buy another one. So just freaking money down the toilet. Just trying to get the engine bay tidied up and freaking just, I want to have this thing going for the shootout. I for a second said, no, you know what, it's not gonna happen, but I'm gonna try to make it happen. So, I mean, we're just gonna see what happens. I don't know. If anybody wants to donate some 2G rails and sliders to me for my seat, that'd be great. I'm just kidding. But now that's a big thing that I gotta buy. So, yeah, I gotta get this situated, so I'll do a time lapse here. Alright guys, intake manifold's bolted down, fuel rails back in. So plan is to take the HKS 272 cam and drill and tap it. So I guess we're gonna see how that goes. So I guess now we're gonna do some wiring. We got a couple head grounds that need to be wired. Sorry about that. So, yeah, get you guys a time lapse.
In audio.
Come on.
All right, we're about to drill this really rare camshaft out.
That straight legendary cam.
Straight up HKS cam, about to get drilled. Wait, that doesn't sound right.
We're gonna drill a hole in it.
We're not gonna do anything else to it, we promise. Anyway, yeah, we're gonna drill a hole in this so I can put a sensor over here. I got my wiring harness, but you guys already know that because I already said that in a prior clip. So yeah,
She's all right. I mean,
fat turbo on this John.
Everything's nice and protected.
Yeah, I mean that's what you want, you know.
Yeah. Hey.
Gotta keep
That's
it.
that
Gotta
is what
keep.
you want.
Gotta keep it protected.
Yep. Always.
Always. Important lesson.
Yeah.
All right. So we got a vacuum. We got a drill with a 17/64 drill bit. Hold on a second. Wait. Hold on. Ooh.
Is there a duck in here? Yeah, ducks.
All right, and then we gotta get a tap. But I'm gonna do that off camera. I'm gonna give you guys a time lapse so you guys can just watch us stand in the way of the camera.
In audio. In audio.
Thank